Hi, and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the webinar. We're going to present our amazing story. And of course, later on, you can ask questions and clarify wherever you would like to understand further. So, first, I would like to emphasize that Clinical does not provide any medical advice. For any doubt, for any medical advice regarding how to manage your disease, please consult with your doctor or any other person that you want. He does not provide any medical advice. Thank you so much. So it's all started when our friend Dan was diagnosed with Parkinson about 5 years ago. We are honored today to have Dan with us. So Parkinson, as you probably know, it's a chronic and progressive movement disorder. It means that symptoms continue and worsen over time. The cause for the disease is abnormal clumping of alpha-synuclein protein, which exists in the brains and bodies of all of us. For some reason, in Parkinson patients, it starts clumping in the brain and it kills the cells that produce dopamine, and actually is the cause for the disease. As for today, there is no cure for Parkinson disease, and there is no test, no progression markers. It means that you don't do a blood test or MRI or CT or some test. You go to the neurologist, he said, okay, get up, go to the end of the room, get back, you got Parkinson's. And there is no progression marker, and we don't know the amount of alpha-synuclein in our brain, and there is no way to measure it. Medications only help with symptoms, and they have a very serious side effect associated with the use of the medication, like Helicos, compulsive behavior like gambling, and many other side effects as well. So when Danny was diagnosed, we as a friend, we start looking for a solution for him, and we looked for an alternative solution. And after a lot of search by accident, we got to a study of Professor Danny Segal from Tel Aviv University that investigated the effect of mannitol on alpha-synuclein protein, the cause for Parkinson. So mannitol is approved by the FDA as safe for human consumption more than 65 years. It has a low caloric and glycemic index, so is also safe for diabetes according to the FDA. Is naturally produced by bacteria, fungi, and other plants as well. It's commonly used for coating of candies, diet fruits, and others. The only side effects known in the FDA that if you're taking more than 20 grams or 0.7 ounce a day, it might cause some laxative effect and gas and something like this. Mannitol is also approved as a medication, and this is medical mannitol, and is used for glaucoma and other things in the brain. And then you get it IV through your veins, and there are large doses. And then if you see very terrified side effects on the internet, it normally reflects to the mannitol as medication. Mannitol as a food supplement, the only known side effect is laxative if you're taking more than 0.7 grams a day. So Professor Segal and his partner took this mannitol in the test tube in their lab, and they saw that mannitol prevent the clumping of the alpha-synuclein at the test tube. And then they moved to the next stage, which is fruit fly that was genetically engineered to carry the human symptoms of Parkinson. This is Professor Segal, and this is the two test tube. One test tube, we see the flies on the ground not moving because they have Parkinson. The other side, we see on the left side, the fruit flies that were got the mannitol, we see that they are flying all over the tube, like they don't have any motor problems, like they're looking healthy. And when he examined the brain of those flies that got the mannitol, he saw that the amount of alpha-synuclein in their brain had been reduced by 70%. So he moved to the next stage in animal, which is mice. And for this purpose, he joined hand with a professor from California University, San Diego, who is known for his Parkinson mice. And the results in mice were even better than in the fruit fly. And he shows that mannitol can significantly improve Parkinson-like symptoms in the animal model. And this was the first time that somebody is focusing on the cause for Parkinson and not just its symptoms. At this stage, he was sure that his way to get Nobel Prize is quite open. But very fast, his naivety come to his face because nobody wants to finance the human stage of the research because there is no economic incentive to test mannitol. The Parkinson medication market is about $5 billion a year. And mannitol you can buy over the counter from Amazon for $34 for 3 months. So there is no real financial incentive to keep on testing mannitol on person. So like each and every professor that don't receive grant to keep on the research, he published his finding in a well-known biological newspaper and keep on to the next research. And after 7 months, he got an email from a professor from Cornell University, professor for biology, who told him that he was diagnosed with Parkinson about 7 years before that. And by accident, he got to the article. He saw that there is no safety issue and he got nothing to lose. And he started taking mannitol, 1 teaspoon in the morning, 1 teaspoon in the evening. And after 5 months, he saw that his Parkinson's symptoms were almost gone. That was a huge excitement from Professor Segal. And then he got emails from additional 20 people all over the globe, all of them the same story. By accident, we got to your article. We saw there is no safety issue. We start taking mannitol, and all of them reported improvement in the Parkinson gradient symptoms. For us, at this stage, it was very easy to tell Danny, our friend, why won't you give it a try, and we will all pray for you. But we couldn't remain indifferent to the plight of the 10 million Parkinson patients around the world. We thought that the Parkinson community has the right to know. So we decided to launch ClinicCrowd as a platform that first will make information accessible for solutions for disease, that there is no financial incentive to investigate and validate, and then use the experience of the crowd to test the efficacy of those solutions for disease and disease prevention. And the platform in return will provide analytics and share insight, allowing the individual participate in the crowd to better manage their personal symptoms. And with these things, we decided to move on. First, we met with the neurologist of Danny, which is a senior neurologist, and she told us, yes, the Parkinson medication market is about $6 billion a year. All medications only deal with symptoms relief. And here, for the first time, that is something that targets the alpha-synuclein, the cause for the disease. She also said that a good neurologist see a patient 1 in 9 months or annually for 5-10 minutes. That's what they got. So we look when someone, a pharmaceutical company, wants to do a clinical trial, what she does. And we found that there is a common questionnaire called UPDRS that is in use for clinical trials for Parkinson's medication. So we use the same questionnaire that we use for Parkinson clinical trials. We made some adaptations, and with these things, we got to meet a Parkinson dancing group, dancing group of Danny, our friend. The idea was that the patient fill up the initial questionnaire, start taking Mannitol, and then every month he fill up a follow-up questionnaire. We got to the group of 25 Parkinson patients. We camped for 15 hours after the lesson, and we stayed additional 90 minutes because they asked a lot of questions. And then they said, okay, we are going for it. We are not selling the Mannitol. So they identified where they can buy it. They found it on Amazon. They fill up the initial questionnaire and they start taking the Mannitol. And surprisingly, after 1 month, 24 out of 25 reported improvement and at least 2 to 3 symptoms of their Parkinson. And then it started going from word to mouth all over the world. And today we have a community with a lot of statistics. We have patients from 42 different countries, only from word to mouth. We didn't do any marketing activities. Patients in Israel told their relatives in the United States and in Brazil and in Australia and Russia and many other countries all around the globe, only from word to mouth. When we look at the statistic, we see that our community definitely reflects the well-known statistic in the Parkinson community worldwide. For instance, the ratio between men to women, 33% women, 67% men, also in our community, 67% are men and 33% are women. We know that the average age of diagnosis in the world is 62. Also in our community, exactly the average age of diagnosis is 62. The youngest in our community was diagnosed when he was 15, and the oldest was diagnosed in the age of 96. And the youngest in the world is a baby in Ireland at the age of 2 that was diagnosed with Parkinson. Also, the number of medication, the average in the world is 2.55. Also, the average in our community is 2.55. The best medication are Aziled, Dupixent, Siemens, PK-MET, and several. But what's more important and more interesting, that we see that 62% of those who took Mannitol more than 6 months were improved. 90% of those that lost their sense of smell regained their sense of smell. 86% their facial impressions were improved. 83% gave up normality improved. 78% report improvement in their energy and vitality level. And many other things were improved. Most important, 69% full stops. This is the main reason for hospitalization. And all these beautiful improved despite the disease progressive nature. You don't expect Parkinson patient to improve. The symptoms only get worsened over time. And now we see improvement at 62%. And this is amazing. Well, the average effectiveness of medication, the drugs are normally 2 to 33%, and here 62% were improved. We see greater improvement the longer they took Mannitol. It means after 6 months, there are improvement better from people that are taking 5 months and 4 months. We see improvement in all ages and in all years from diagnostic. And the best improved is a female, Parkinson stage 5 at the age of 67, taking Mannitol since January 27, 12 follow-ups registries, and she is best improved almost in every aspect and symptom of her Parkinson's disease. As we said before, Parkinson starts 10, 15 years before you're diagnosed. When you're diagnosed with the disease, almost 60 to 80% of your cells in the brain are already dead. So the early symptoms might be reduced or loss of sense of smell, trouble of sleeping, consumption, change in handwriting, muscle sculpting sport, and stuff like that. Today, if you look at the world prevention world, they will tell you eat healthy, quit smoking and drinking, do sport, and live healthy. But we are coming with a solution of mannitol, because if mannitol prevents the collapsing of the alpha-synuclein and the disease starts 10 to 15 years before I diagnose, maybe if I start take mannitol today, it will prevent my Parkinson. And today we have a few hundred of people that are at high risk for Parkinson, or because they did a gene test and they saw that they are at high risk for Parkinson, or as myself, I get the first-line relative. My father and my 3 uncles are with Parkinson. And today, many of those are taking mannitol preventively, report improvement in what might be early symptoms of Parkinson. As for myself, I can report for myself that after 5 months of taking mannitol preventively, I regained my sense of smell, what might be an early sign, very strong sign for Parkinson. And now do I know that? I'm a volunteer as an ambulance, as a senior medic once a week. And when I start getting out of the ambulance to treat ambulances, suddenly I realize that I regain my sense of smell because I can smell the street and I smell all the medication and everything around me. And many others are reporting as well. So you can go to our website and then you see all the disease and everything. You go down and you get to the Parkinson and the Parkinson prevention and Alzheimer prevention and diabetes prevention and gout and whatever. You can also suggest, you select the Parkinson from the disease, you fill out initial registry, then you fill out follow-up registry every week, and then you access your community report. We also have the fact when all the questions we answer there, and one of the questions, what is the required dose of mannitol? So once you submit the Parkinson initial registry, you will get a page which includes, among other information, a table of doses per your weight. We did a very complex formula that transfer from mice to people and from IV to people are eating it. And this is what you get. For any question, you can always contact us, whatever you want, and we'll answer you. So the biggest question is, where is the catch? What are you getting out of it? What clinic will get out of it? So we're a social impact company. We want to make a change. Today, we are building a parallel system for clinical trials for safe solutions that today are not being investigated due to lack of financial incentive. Nobody in Israel knew about mannitol, no professor nor patients, about 18 months ago. And today, 100% of neurologists and patients knows about mannitol. So we want to make a change. We want the data we collect will improve the well-being of patients and will help prevent the disease. So we don't gain anything out of it. We come with a good faith. We only want to help Parkinson patients and those at risk. We are not affiliated with any mannitol manufacturer. We are not getting anything from if you are buying mannitol or any other things. We only want to do good to Parkinson patients. Next stage, we want to add also objective follow-up via mobile application. Like if you do selfie of yourself, we can do image analysis in order to see if your mask space is better or worsened or the same. Of course, use the accelerometer for tremor meter, step tracker, sound meter. We know that the sound and the voice is something that disappeared with Parkinson and improved with mannitol. So we'll check the voice meter and we'll check also all the other wearable devices to see steps, sleep quality, and all this will get to our database. And on top of it, we'll do our machine learning and artificial information in order to gain insight and new things about Parkinson from patients and from those at risk in order to get data on the disease. The other things we want to do questionnaire based on voice, so you can answer 1, 2, 3, or 4 in order to make it easier for database for Parkinson patients. We are aware of the challenge of Parkinson patients in computer and technology and the mobile devices, so we want to do it as easy as possible for Parkinson patients as well. So at the end of the day, we did a win-win situation for everyone, for doctors, for patients, for those at risk. First, patients get information about unknown solutions for the disease, and they also can maintain a clean record of their disease, test which treatments work best for them. You can see here, you have a few questions about symptoms, for instance, about Fuster. If at the first register you answer 1, and in the follow-up register you answer 4, it means you become bad +3. So you get 3 to your score. If at the first initial questionnaire you answer 3, and in the follow-up you answer 1, it means -2, it means you improve in 2. And then you can see all the symptoms families, if you were improve or worsen or remain the same from the initial and from the previous survey. You can drill down to each and every symptoms of your Parkinson to see if it improved or worsened from the initial or from the previous survey. At any time, you can track your progress on a graph to see if you are improved or remain the same or get worsened, and you can compare your score to other community fellows. You can see all your scores, and you can compare it to your age group and gender. You can compare it to patients in the USA. You can compare it to patients who are doing Tai Chi or are taking specific medication or specific nutriment or whatever you want, or specific treatment like yoga, whatever you want. And you don't have to take Mannitol. You can use this tool to check everything you want. How does it affect your Parkinson? If you want to see if yoga helps your Parkinson, you fill up initial questionnaire, start doing yoga, and then every month you're doing the follow-up, and you see what does it do to your symptoms. You can test specific nutriment or specific medication, everything you want, you can test with our system and see how does it affect your Parkinson's disease. And once you get to your doctor 1 in 9 months or a year, you can print a report and get to the doctor, and the doctor now can get better decision about your treatment based on information and not only on what you remember or not remember that happened during the last 9 months or year or so. And also people at risk, of course, they get disease prevention and they can support the families because families and the patient are sharing the same treatments of taking Mannitol, some of them preventively, some of them to treat the disease, and they can share insights and help support each other. And of course, you can use our community to ask a question, to get answer from another patient all around the globe, from doctors, for everybody that participate. Our community in our website, it's like Facebook. You can ask questions, you get answer, you get likes, you can get everything. And the next stage, we also have a project for Alzheimer with another stuff with extract of cinnamon and with permanent extract. And we have a solution from diabetes and a solution for gout. So Parkinson and Mannitol, it's our main project in the first project, and show the power and validate of this platform. So in order to summarize, it's important to say this is not a magic. We are not taking the teaspoon of Mannitol and your Parkinson is gone. It takes time. You have to be patient. Not every person is experienced Parkinson the same, and also the effect of medication is not the same. So Mannitol is not affecting the same each and every person. There is one person from Australia that the effect of Mannitol starts only 7 months after he starts taking the Mannitol. Some people report improvement after 2 weeks, and some of them after 7 months. So it's not the same. You have to be patient. Some of them are taking Mannitol 3 months. They are not filling up the reports. And they said, okay, I'm quitting because it doesn't help. But we see, according to reports, if you fill up the reports, you can see really in your personal zone if it affects or doesn't affect. Sometimes people think that it doesn't affect, but when they look at the report, they see that they are improved or remain the same. Even remaining the same is improvement because Parkinson is a progression disease. So there is a huge import for filling out the report. Okay, so this is good things takes time. Miracles, you know, we don't do miracles, but good things takes time, and you have to be patient with what we're doing. I want to emphasize again, ClinicalRoad does not provide any medical advice. We just make information accessible for you about solution for disease, for help prevent disease. For any medical advice, for any doubt, for anything you want, please consult with your doctor. So thank you so much for your time. And if you have any question, you can ask. We have also Gila with us today. That Gila, you want to say something? And Gila, if you want to say something, you can say. And
Hi,
you can ask any question. You can see the webinar in YouTube. If you want to see it again, it's in our YouTube channel. Please look for ClinicalRoad on YouTube, and you can.
Yes, so I shared
over there.
all of you my email address.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for your time. And if you would like to have another webinar, we always will be happy to do it. We'll be happy to answer questions. And thank you so much.
It's on YouTube, I guess.
I'm looking at YouTube, but clinic something yet.
Yeah, I've seen the website.
I don't know about a website. I'm looking at it on YouTube. Mannitol?
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I can find that site where he said, let's see. ClinicalRoad.
ClinicalRoad, okay.
We'll wash our sheets.
Got Parkinson.